Oceanigot, galele jagedo kohig wade lemons tawadon, kohig nugskon, jo ine jalagi adelo kostikele. Here jalagi nagine RSU TV we gonna know go. Welcome. My name is Wade Blevins. This is Cherokee 4 here on RSU TV. I think today is the 43rd Cherokee lesson. So today we're going to take a little bit of a break from the comics. I have finally found the other three comics. Of course, as you know, we went through Blondie, and we went through that entire comic, which I found to be really, really beneficial. It has a lot of great vocabulary and vocabulary you can use in conversation daily because, of course, comics are organized that way, right? Comics are largely dialogue driven. So they're really a great resource. So before the end of the course, we're going to try at least to do one other. We have High and Lois, we have Popeye, and we have Beetle Bailey, are the other three comics that were produced in 1975. So, but today we're going to go back to one of the Cherokee primer books. We've done some things out of it before, and today we're going to do another short little story, a short page. I think it's 2 paragraphs long. Maybe it might take us maybe a couple lessons to get through it. I'm not really sure. So anyway, come, Iralena, talagi. Okay, so here is the page that we're going to work our way through. As you can see, you might remember from other times that we've done things out of this book. They have some like little sight words at the top, and then they have this paragraph here at the bottom. So I just want you to take just a couple minutes and look at the top sight words and see how many of them you can read yourself. Read them in syllabary and see if you can translate them. Some of them you will probably know. Some of them will probably be brand new to you. Some of them were sort of new to me. So, and some of them I know a different word for it or whatever. So, so let's. I'll just give you just a couple minutes to read through on your own. So you're going to read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 words. Let's see how many of them you can pronounce. Okay, let's do the first one. The first one up here might be kind of hard to see, I don't know, but the first character, tl, next one, da, and the next one, ji. Tl-dachi, or tl-dutch, tl-dutch. You might know this one already. We've had this one before. Tl-dutch is a lion, or a panther, or a mountain lion. So really kind of any big, huge cat is, in Cherokee, we call tl-dutch. Okay. Next one, amage, amage, amage. So this one, some people translate this as hominy, but to me, amage, and you can even sound, is like, oh, well, it sounds like the word water is in there, and it is. It's, to me, it's more like hominy soup, okay? So it's hominy, kind of like old style hominy, you know, and it's more like a soup rather than what you might think of as modern hominy. Okay, next one, a, g, la, d, go, cl, d. Okay, agil, di, go, cled, agil, di, go, cled. Okay, do you know what that is? Agil you might recognize as fire, right? Digotlud, like it's to make fire. And that of course is matches, because that's what we use to make fire with, right? Agil digotlud. Next one, Gadalu Godi. Okay, Gadalu Godi. Gadalu Godi. And that's a plow. Gadalu Godi. So that's a plow. Gadalu Godi is a plow. Next word, ite, ite, ite. You might recognize that one. It means new. Next one, dinuo, dinuo, dinuo. Okay, dinuo, dinuo. And that's clothing or clothes, plural. Anuo is one piece of clothing, or it can be a shirt. Dinuo, clothing. Okay, as a collective group, right? Okay, the next one, ite, so it has that part in there. Usti, ite usti, ite usti, and that's green, right? We've talked about that. Green literally means like new. Ite usti, okay, like new. Next one, elitam, 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 elitam. I know somebody that has that name, elitam. And that's the word for a wren, a bird, elitam. Okay. Next one, ta, lu, za. Taluza, taluza. That's a basket. Taluza is a basket. Next one, wo, yi, wo yi, wo yi, wo yi is a pigeon. Okay, there are Cherokees that have this last name, wo yi. Okay, pigeon. Okay, this next one, ka, ni, je, da, li. Kanje dali, kanje dali, kanje dali. Okay, this is more correctly the blue heron, but a lot of times in kind of slang English, we'll call them like cranes, right? If you know what blue herons are, but more correctly, they're a blue heron. Okay, but we have a different word for like a crane, like a sandhill crane or a whooping crane, which of course we don't have here in Oklahoma. But sometimes we'll call the big blue bird that you see by the river or the lake or something like that. Sometimes we'll call that a crane, but it's a blue heron, kanje dali, and in Cherokee that's what the kanje dali is, that animal. Okay. Next one, selu, selu, selu. Okay, you should know that one. That one is corn. Corn. Okay, this one, You might know this one. Let's read our way through it. A, li, ye, su, sta, wo. Al Jesus tawo. Al Jesus tawo. Al Jesus tawo is a ring. Al Jesus tawo is a ring. And the last one, ta ma tli. Ta ma tli. Ta ma tli. And of course, that's a cognate, meaning that it sounds similar in Cherokee or in another language as it does to English. Tomatli, tomato, right? Tomatli, tomato. Okay. So hopefully you were able to read them without too much trouble. If not, don't worry about it. Just keep working on it. The more you do it, the better you get at it. So don't stress yourself out about it that, oh my gosh, I don't know this yet or whatever. It's perfectly fine. Everyone's brain acquires at a different rate. And it doesn't mean anything other than you acquire differently, okay? So when your brain is ready for it, it'll be there. Okay, so just keep working at it. And even if you add, one little tiny piece of information per lesson, you're going to be that much farther ahead. And every time you listen to the same lesson, you'll get a little bit more information. It'll get a little bit deeper. It's kind of like driving on a dirt road, right? You drive the same road every day, it starts to wear ruts in the road, and that's kind of the same with our brain. We go over the same stuff all the time. It wears paths in our brain. It creates paths in our brain to make it easier for us to find that information. Okay? So what we're going to do this time, because we've done quite a few stories, I'm going to read this in its entirety first. Now, I'm going to take my time because it's, my brain's still in English mode. So, but hopefully by the time I get towards the end, I'll get back into it. And you'll probably see towards the beginning, I'll be kind of, having to back up and stuff. And that's okay. So I'm going to read it in its entirety first, and then we're going to start to make our way through it. So I'll start with the title. Talagi ayetli undetiyiska sudetiyud yudale dulisti katlai ani talagi unisquala ehon ale dandlosko analihelika tatline dulehisana talagi ayetli udeliga aneha ani talagi. It's a long first sentence, isn't it? Talagi ayetli uweti dinilawig unanadii adanelai doyadid unsquistosa Yahweh dane dohon talaki ayetli katati uninaa anisaldiskoi sawu udalegi nandaneho hiana andagonadis an andadod andagod anda andagonadiscoi uwoduno atalagi agehuza ale ata ansuyesko talagi ayetli igai kadogi agehya soneladu sudalsko zoi judetia sadisa Mary Catcher judoit unsuyese dalikwa jundelo quasti judel qua sudetia dano egohid Bacon College judel qua ale dalikwa galeladi jundel quasti na school clega judel qua duliste ji kalai udeligai didl Wyoming doju do uena se unquistano ale Jundalenard aniya wiya untogiya ale unja clugi ikayi ale husky ayawiya agehya ahani amayetli ideha idiyawiyai hiskine no iya ulenahi he anna Mary Catcher he anno na tlega jagesa dagajustanagi so ino gesa nandaneha he anna jun squala eho galjat dino di gatlid anigoniskoi anitalaki selu juda degasada daniyohi hoi ugodidano juda juyotlahi gatlid gati udadlosa gesoi tsko yalaskeda udali dunisadoi he ano selu juda anigoniska gawanlenada he anahi unisquala hai tali juno hirgi sigi igayi adagonadiskoi daliqua juena saiga igi akali achalaki. Okay, so that seems like a lot, doesn't it? But it was a lot to read, I'll tell you that. But, it wasn't too bad. I hope that you were able to pick out at least a couple of words, there was a lot in there. And there's a lot in there that or there's some things in there that I never could find a translation for. I've in talking to the speakers, and usually it's just I have found that it's one of two things is the reason why the speakers get stumped as well. Either it's kind of an idiomatic expression that's kind of unique to maybe where this individual is from or his family or something like that, or it's just a spelling of the word that makes it hard to read. And I find that this is often the case with written Cherokee, trying to decipher what sounds that they're hearing, as opposed to how you hear a word, For example, right here, this word, this unigiquistosa, okay? That might cause, that doesn't sound like anything, but if you say unsquistosa, it's like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. I know what that word is. I just wouldn't spell it like that. I would spell it with a S sound instead of a G, right? Unsquistosa, But people just spell it however it sounds to them. I think probably during the golden age of written Cherokee, there were probably more standardized norms for the spelling of words. But as the use of written Cherokee has kind of declined, people just spell it the way that it sounds to them. And that's kind of always how it's been. We've never had, a place that standardized spelling, that's, even in English, that's a fairly new thing. If you've read old English documents and things like that, people just spelled the words however they wanted to spell them. I mean, and it wasn't until fairly recently that they started to kind of standardize the spelling of words. So anyway, that being said, let's kind of make our way through and let's see how much of this we can get through. So here is the title. It says, Tsalagi Ayetli Undeti Sky. Okay? So Tsalagi, Cherokee, Ayetli, tribe, nation, Undeti Yiska. Undeti Yiska means really like usually we use that to refer to birthdays, right? We say, Jadeti Yiska, your birthday, Awadeti Yiska, my birthday, Undeti Yiska, their birthday, okay? And so really it means Undeti Yiska, it's related to the year, right? So it means their years. So it really doesn't have the word born in there or anything. It has to do with the passing of years. So we could kind of translate this as the Cherokee Nation birthday, or the Cherokee Nation yearly celebration, that kind of thing. And I found this online, and this is a picture of the program from the very first annual Cherokee National Holiday, which was September 6th, 1953. 1953. So that was, what, 70 years ago or so? So, you know, and you can see, here's a little site map of Cherokee Nation. There's the College Museum, the old female seminary building, which is at NSU, and of course NSU there. The old Bacone College was there, which I didn't know. The old Baptist Mission, the old Presbyterian Mission. Those kind of look like they're on what we call the bypass now, but there's the old Cherokee Nation Capitol building, which is still there. It's a museum now. The Supreme Court building, also still there. The Cherokee National Prison, which is still there. You can tour that. The old Methodist Church, I don't think that's there, or the Sequoia Grade School, I don't know that that's there. Riley's Chapel, the old female seminary, of course that's where the Heritage Center is now. The Merle Home, that is still there. Ross Cemetery, of course, is still there. The site of the Tahlequah Cemetery moved in 1905. And then go to Park Hill, the old mission established by Boudinot Mission, which looks like it's kind of right there where Six Killers is kind of what it looks like to me, but maybe not. And then the grave of Elias Boudinot. So anyway, that's in 1953. This is what the first program looked like, and so I thought it might be interesting. I thought you might like to see that. Okay, so let's make our way through that very first sentence. So of course I've written it again down here, so it might make it a little easier for you to read. So it says, Sudetiyud you dali dulisti katlai ani jalagi un squala ehon ale dandloskon unali heliga tatline dule hisana jalagi ayetli udeliga aneha ani jalagi. Okay, so Sudetiyud means several years. Yudali. So Sudetiyud Yudali means every year. In this case is kind of how you're going to translate that. So Yudali means, you know, from time to time, or, you know, at intervals, right? Sudetiyud. So at yearly intervals, Sudetiyud Yudali. At yearly intervals, Dulisti Katla. Dulist is September, Katla, the month. So at yearly intervals in the month of September, Ani Chalagi, the Cherokees, Unisquala ehon is Unisquala ehon means something that occurs continually. Okay, Unisquala ehon. So Unisquala ehon. So we can translate that. It means it's something that occurs continually, something that happens. And so we could translate that to mean like a holiday or a celebration, because both of those things, happen continually. Ale and Don Losco, they meet habitually. Okay, remember that all sound at the end lets us know that it's something that happens over and over again. Don Losco, they meet. Anali Helega, they were happy. Tatline, a second time. Tatline, second. Dule Hisana. Dule Hisana is an interesting word. So, because we know this word maybe from Jisa Dule Hisana, like when Jesus rose again, right? And so, Dule Hisana means for, when I first came across this word, to me, I had always translated that to be like they're resurrected, right? They come back from the dead, right? And or they rose, dulehi sanam, they rose up, from the grave, because that's the only frame of reference I ever had when they talk about Jisa dulehi sana, when Jesus rose again. So that's how I knew the word. But in talking to the speakers and talking about the context, it just means like it sprang up. It got back up again, right? It started again, Dulehi. And Jalagi, Cherokee, Ayetli Nation. Okay? So when Cherokee Nation sprang up again, okay? Udelega, Aneha. The west, Wudelega in the west, Aneha, they were there, Ane Chalagi, when the Cherokees were in the west. Okay, so now we know literally what it says. Now we need to make some sense out of it. So let's read through it again. Sudetiyud Udale Dulisti Kotley Ani Chalagi Unisquala Ehon Ale Dandlosco Anali Helega Tatline Dulehi Sana Chalagi Ayetli Udeliga Aneha Ani Chalagi. So what it's saying here is, it says every year in the month of September, the Cherokees have a holiday. They have an event, and they meet to rejoice. Anali Heliga, they rejoiced over the rebirth, when the Cherokee Nation sprang up again in the West, right? So that's when the Cherokees were in the West, and it sprang up again. So that's what it's talking about. So Sudeti Yud Yudali. So year at intervals. Dulisti, September, Kotla, month. Ani Chalagi, the Cherokees. Unisquala eho, something that habitually happens. Ale, and Dandlosco, they meet. Anali Heliga, they were happy. Tatline, Dulehi Sana, the second rising, or the second the rebirth. Okay, Dulehi Sana, Jalagi Ayetli of Cherokee Nation, Udelega in the west, Aneha, they were there, Ane Jalagi, the Cherokees. So the Cherokee people were in the west. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you. Let's read the next one. Next one says, Jalagi ayekli uweti Danilawig unanadi unanad un unan unandii unandii adanelai doyadid. Okay, so unandii unanadii. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, Talagi ayetli, Cherokee Nation. Uweti, old Dinilawig Council. Unanadii, where they sit. Unanadii, where they sit. Adanelai, the building. And then Doyadid means outside, towards outside. But it can, in this case, it means on the grounds, right? So, we can translate Jalagi ayetli uweti danilawig unanadi adanela in doyadid. So we can say Cherokee Nation in the old council place where they sat, building where the building sat, on the grounds. So it's talking about where it occurs. So it says it's on the old grounds where the Cherokee Nation Council building sat. Okay, if that makes sense. So Talagi ayetli uweti dinilawig unanadi adanelai doyadidla. Okay, let's make our way through the next one. Okay, unjiquistosa. Okay, so this is the word I was talking about. Unjiquistosa, Yahweh. Dane donha. Okay, unjiquistosa Yahweh. Dane donha. Okay, tquistosa, lots and lots. Tquistosa, there were a lot of them. Yahweh, there were a lot of people. Dane donha. They were there. Okay, don't, right? Like they're walking around or they're located. This word is a odd word to me. So this word, we'll take it from its most simple form. Edon means he's there, or it can mean he's walking around. Either way, because you can use this word edon sometimes when they take roll. For Cherokee Nation for council meetings, they'll call roll of all the Cherokee Nation tribal council members, and sometimes they'll say ahan or ahani, or they'll say ahan geedon. It means I'm here. Doesn't mean I'm here walking around. It means I'm present, right? So it can mean that you're present somewhere, or it can mean you're walking around somewhere. Okay, you can ask Hadlahed, where are you at? Hadlahed, where are you? You know, Hadlahed, so and so. And used to, when I taught school, I would ask, like when I was taking roll, and I called somebody's name and they didn't answer, then I'd ask, Hadla e don Jimmy, or whatever, where's Jimmy at, you know? So, and then they say, Tlaye don't, they're not here. He's not here, right? So, Dane don ha'i means they were there, okay? So, unsqueeze do sanyawi, Dane don ha'i. Lots of people were there, okay? Okay, let's read this one. Chalagi ayetli kadati unina anisaladisko. All right, so Talagi Ayetli, we should know by now, Cherokee Nation. Gat.T is a flag. Gat.T is like, it's a flag. Unina means they have it. So, Anisaladisko, they're raising it up, okay? Asaladisko means he's raising up. Anisaladisko means they are raising it. So they're raising the Cherokee Nation flag that they have, okay? Talagi ayetli gatati unina anisaladisko. Okay? So, Talagi ayetli gatati unina anisaladisko. Okay, the Cherokee Nation flag that they have, they're raising it up. Okay, so they're just talking about what they do at Cherokee Nation holiday. They raise the flag. Okay, so let's read back through what we've got so far. So we have Chalaki ayetli undetiyiskai. Sudetiyud yudali dulisti katla. Ani Chalaki uniskola ehon ale dan losko unali helika tatline dule hisana Talagi ayetli udeliga aneha ani Talagi. So here again is an example of that spelling thing. You know, this author spelled west udeliga, and that's why it gives me a little pause. So because I spell it with a wa sound, wudeliga, means where it goes down, is wudeliga. And they're talking about the sun, but literally the word direction, wudeliga, means where it goes down. And so that's why every time I read it, udeliga, it throws me a little bit because I hear a wa sound, and the people that I'm around, they would spell it with a wa. Wudeliga ane Talagi. Talagi ayetli uweti danilawig unanadi adanelai doyatidla. Unsquisto sayawi dane doha. Talagi ayetli kadati unina ani saladisko. Okay, let's read through it one more time. Okay? Talagi ayetli undetiyiskai. Sudetiyud yudali dulisti katla. Ani talagi unisquala ehon ale dandlosko Analiheliga tatline dulehi sana jalagi ayetli udeliga aneha ane jalagi. Jalagi ayetli uweti danila wig unan nadii adanela I doyadidla. Unsquisto se yawi ane dohai. Jalagi ayetli kadati uni naa ani saladis koi. All right, so we just got a couple of minutes left, so let me ask you if you remember what some of these words are. So what about Jalagi ayetli? That's an easy one, right? Jalagi ayetli. Cherokee Nation. What about Dulisti? Dulisti. That might be a hard one for you. Dulisti. Okay, the month of September. Dulisti, September. Anichalaki. Anichalaki. Cherokees. Dandlosko. Dandlosko. They're habitually meeting. Dulehisana. Dulehisana. Means they sprang up or they got up again. Uweti, old. Adanela, a building. Dinilawig, council. Unsquistosa. There's a lot of them. Dane doha. They're there. They're walking around. It can be either one. It can either mean they're there or it can mean they're walking around. Gadati. Flag. Ani saladisco means they're raising it up, right? They are raising one thing up. Ani saladisco. Some people ani saldisco. Okay. All right, so let's try some of these. Al Jesus tomo is a ring. Kanje dali is a blue heron. Elitam is a wren. Agil di gotlid, matches. Okay, all right. So we've learned a lot today. We've gone through a lot today. Hopefully you've found something in here that was new for you or was beneficial. So that is about it for all of our time. So from all of us here at Cherokee Nation and RSU TV, I just want to say one, what don't dago, huh?